Lesson 2.4, Solving Equations with Variables on Each Side. Focus learning target. I can solve an equation when it has variables on both sides of the equation. I can determine if an equation has one solution, no solution, or is an identity. Now I just want to state that if an equation has one solution, you're going to end up with an equation that looks like x is equal to a certain number 3. This is an example of one solution. No solution means you're going to end up with an equation that is not true, like 0 is equal to 3. This is not true, and so we have no solution. And an identity is when you end up with an equation that has a constant on both sides, and the constant's the same number. 3 is equal to 3. Okay. So let's go ahead and practice some of these problems. We have example number 1, which is 7c plus 12 is equal to negative 4c plus 78. Notice here that we have a term with the variable c on both sides of the equal sign. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to get all of the terms with the variable on the same side of the equal sign. Then we need to get all of the other terms on the opposite side of the equal sign. So let's start by moving the negative 4c. We can do that by adding 4c to both sides of the equal sign. And notice here that I'm putting the 4c right under the negative 4c because they are like terms. And I'm putting the plus 4c under the 7c on the left side of the equal sign because those are like terms. We do not want to add 12 and 4c together because those are not like terms. Let's rewrite our equation. 11c plus 12 is equal to 78. Now we need to continue isolating the variable. We need to move the 12 to the other side of the equal sign. So we'll do that by minusing 12 on both sides of the equal sign. And that leaves us with 11c is equal to 66. Now that we have the term with the variable on the left side, we have the constant on the right side, we need to remove that 11, right, leaving us with just c. So we can do that by dividing by 11 on both sides of the equal sign. And that gives us 1c is equal to 6. And I can go ahead and put a box around that. And this here is an example of one solution. So I'm going to put here one solution. Example 2, we have this fraction. Now, what we're going to do to solve this is we need to get rid of the fractions. Let's start with this first one here. We can remove that fraction by multiplying the left side of the equal sign by that denominator and multiplying the right side of the equal sign by that denominator. So let's do that now. When we have this 2 followed by the parentheses, we are going to need to distribute out the 2. So it's going to be 2 times x divided by 2 plus 2 times 1. Right? And so when we're doing the multiplication between the 2 and the x divided by 2, the 2 will cancel out with the denominator, right, leaving us with just x. Now when the 2 is multiplied by the 1, that's going to leave us with a positive 2. Alright, so the same thing needs to happen on the right side of the equal sign. We need to distribute out the 2. And so it's going to be 2 times 1 over 4x and 2 times negative 6. So let's start with the 2 times 1 over 4x. That's going to, if we put a 1 underneath the 2, we can multiply straight across, and we'll be left with 2 over 4x. Now we need to multiply the 2 by the negative 6. So that's going to leave us with negative 12. We're still not finished yet because we have this other fraction over here. And so to get rid of this fraction, we can go ahead and reduce it. And that leaves us with x plus 2 is equal to 1 over 2x minus 12. But we still have the fraction. And we can get rid of this fraction the same way we got rid of the fraction in our first step. We can multiply the left side of the equal sign by the denominator, and we can multiply the right side of the equal sign by the denominator. Let's do that now. So here we're going to need to distribute out the 2, and we're going to be left with 2x plus 4 is equal to, and in this case, the 2's cancel out. The 2 cancel out with the denominator when we multiply 2 times 1/2. So we will be left with x, and now we have 2 times negative 12, which is negative 24. And now we have an equation with a variable on both sides of the equal sign. So we need to move our x to the left side of the equal sign. We do that by subtracting x on both sides. That'll leave us with x plus 4 is equal to negative 24. And then finally, we're going to move the 4 to the other side of the equal sign by subtracting 4 from both sides. Now I don't have enough room, so I'm just going to say x is equal to negative 28 and put a box around that. Now you want to ask yourself, is this an example of one solution? Is it no solution? Or is it an identity? And you can see that it's clearly one solution. X is equal to a number.